Welcome to Tech Talk on Tuesday, where we talk about all the techie tools that you need to run your online business. Are you a woman over 50 who's inspired to take that leap and become a digital nomad? Are you the type of woman who wants that time freedom and still want to secure an income so that you can travel the world? This next series on Tech Talk on Tuesday is all about the tech you need to become a successful spiritual digital nomad. Come join me. So we're going to take a look at becoming a digital nomad and just scratch the surface a little bit today on the pros and cons. And as the series goes along, you'll see all the little pieces of the puzzle be brought together. So let's talk about the pros for a second. Okay, so of course the pros of being a digital nomad is having your online business. You don't have to be mobile, but that's sort of like the next thing that people like to do. You know, not everybody can, but I know families that are world schooling their children, which means they are taking their children out around the world and they're homeschooling them from the location that they are. And they're digital nomads. So it's nomadic families that are out there really exploring the world. I love it. I love it. I love it. So, flexible work schedule. Like I find that when I'm not moving around so much, you know, I sort of slack on keeping a good schedule. But when you're moving around, everything is so heightened and it's so exciting because now, you know, you're creating your own schedule and people understand. Like if you're traveling, you're on a plane, a boat or whatever, you have to allow that time to get from one destination to another. So that could be considered your downtime. Maybe that's a time when you're not doing a lot of one-on-one with people. That could be the time that you're actually doing some of the work, behind the scenes work for someone. And that's what I like about what I'm doing. And I'm pivoting a bit, but I'm not doing whole websites, but I am going to continue to narrow down on what I can do and what I enjoy the most, which is funnels and email marketing. And I find that those two work very well with what I do. And so as you get out here and you actually start living this life, you find that a lot of things you don't need further into the journey. And things change all the time. Things have changed with me since the beginning. From when I first thought about it, it's even changed. So yeah, that flexible work schedule. And then there's the time and financial freedom. So the time freedom is, you know, and the financial freedom is if you are receiving income, reoccurring income, passive income from maybe affiliate marketing or something, that means you're not having to do the customer service part of your business all the time. And then even if that's your responsibility, you can hire that out. You can outsource a lot of things, you know, if your income is pretty steady. So that allows for financial freedom, and that also allows for time freedom. And then the travel freedom, right? The travel freedom, that's the whole point of this. Experiencing different cultures. And you don't have to, like if someone is for example, in the United States, and they want to become a digital nomad, it doesn't mean that they have to leave the United States. They can travel around from country to country. I mean, from state to state, thinking of Africa now, from state to state and live a full life doing that. And I know some people who are just enjoying just that. And then when they have, you know, an extended downtime, they may leave the country. But there are many that are just going from country to country, from continent to different continents. And I just find it's just so fascinating. And then there's low overhead. So you're not having to haul around inventory, just you and your belongings. And a lot of times people will find a dedicated place where they keep their things, and then they travel and then they go back to that, that one place. Sometimes I've seen people minimize so much that they have a backpack and a luggage. That is amazing. It's amazing within itself. Okay, so let's touch on the cons. The one I have at the top there is Wi-Fi. Anytime I meet someone who's in the same space as I, Wi-Fi is the thing. Where's some good Wi-Fi, and that's important because we need that. Technology has gotten better, so you can have your own personal, Wi-Fi service. And most cafes that I've gone to now have Wi-Fi. So you can always connect and sit and do your work. But that's in most cases. There are a lot of locations where there's no Wi-Fi. And so if you know that ahead of time, you can plan for that. So that could be just complete downtime for you, where you're working maybe on your laptop or something, but you're not online. So you're doing I call it, you're just doing offline work. Starting this without a plan, just packing up and leaving, can be very difficult. I didn't say it wasn't impossible, but it can be sort of difficult. Not that what you've done itself is difficult. I find that, because this is me talking from experience, I found that the connections with the people that you are leaving behind feels just like that, like you're leaving people behind. And that's not necessarily the case, but it's still an emotional separation. It's an emotional thing that happens. And so it sort of weighs heavily on you sometimes, because a lot of emotions come into this. And, people don't talk about that. I'm going to tell you about it. But so that people can be better prepared. You can plan for this, but you don't know what you don't know. So when you get out there months later, not only are your family and friends missing you and you them, but it brings up a certain amount of emotions that people just generally aren't ready for. So that's something to think about and plan for. Unwanted experiences, those unexpected experiences, anything from I missed my flight, and then you got to get on these standbys. Long layovers, some are avoidable. Some places you can take layovers where you can leave the airport and journey back in. But in the cases that you can't do that, that means you're sitting in the airport for hours. So it's a pro and a con, because you can get work done maybe, or you just take that time to rest and do nothing. But it is something to think about. Lost luggage, unexpected, unwanted experiences do happen. They happen at your home. So just imagine, when you're away, things can still happen. This is huge when you are traveling and you have an online business. You must have processes and systems in place for you. Things that you do that's repetitive, or you can delegate out to other people. Well, we have softwares and things like that now, so then you can have an assistant monitor that for you. But it's almost impossible to be able to have an online business without online softwares and services that are helping you. That's from email marketing to keep the conversation and relationship going with people for you, and keeping track of everything, even banking. And then no automation knowledge. And this is what I'm leading to. For those of you who are thinking about doing this, or those of you who are doing this already and you're struggling with putting all the automation together, that's what I'd like to go through for the series, is to focus on that part. And, the rest we'll talk about, anyway. But I think that is very key, because you get out there and you start traveling and you don't have the knowledge of the things that you need. You may have heard about these things, but until you need them, there's no true connection. So those are the pros and cons of becoming a digital nomad from just a tiny perspective. There's a lot more involved. But so next week, what I'll do is deep dive a little more in what automations you need to have in place, what you need to plan for before. And I was in a challenge a couple of years ago. I think it was a couple of years ago, and it was we had to speak about something, and I did it before being a digital nomad before I left home. Wow. So I looked back on those videos and started taking my own advice. So I'll post some of those around in the group, just so that you can take some notes, and then it reminds me of what I can touch bases on, based on how you comment on there, and if you have any questions. So that's all for today's Tech Talk on Tuesday. How to become a digital nomad. We'll see you next Tuesday when we deep dive even more. Bye.